I apologize for not showing much savvy. Got our tails beat Saturday night, so I should have worn a lot more colorful sweater, and you wouldn't have to ask me about the game. This is just a regular Navy Peter Millar with Biltmore Forest Country Club logo right there. So I skip talking about the game Saturday night. I feel a lot better.
Roy, you mentioned aliens taking over your players' bodies after the game. Any exorcisms that we need to be aware of?
You've been planning that one.
Yeah, that's good. You took some time to think about that question. You know, I did feel like in the second half, early in the second half, we had Theo, Joel, and Luke, our three most experienced players, really have bad turnovers. And then we just made some communication mistakes on the other end as well. One time, two guys crossed and they either thought they were switching or thought they weren't. It was two guys guarded one guy. So it was unusual, but you have to give Duke credit too. I mean, we didn't think they were going to go 1-10 in the second half, but I didn't think they were going to go 8-15 with Duval and Bagley and Carter making 3 out of 2. But you just have to give them credit. We didn't play nearly as well as we needed to. We didn't play as well as we had played the first half. We didn't make shots, and then they made shots, and it was not a pleasant second half for us.
Given some of those mental lapses by some of the veterans, is that something you can say, okay, happened in that game, and can kind of forget about it, just let them know about it and move on? Or
I let them know about it.
Yeah.
And we do those kind of things.
Yes. But does that concern you moving forward?
No. I mean, you know, it's. I mean, Luke has made a lot of plays this year, getting it off the backboard and busting out on dribbling down the court. But I mean, we got 4 coaches and 17 parents yelling, "Easy, easy, easy." You know, you don't attack one guy attacking 4. But Joel tried to go through an opening that wasn't very open, and Theo just made a bad decision. It wasn't the easiest play he could make. But we're going to have turnovers because we try to be aggressive. But that's probably the thing I was more concerned about, is that we were so passive. You know, we were passing the ball around, and you know, not getting very good shots. And when we did get an open look, we rushed everything. You know, Bagley came out, and I know he blocked 1 3-pointer by Joel, and he got out and really bothered Kenny's when Kenny shot the air ball. And so again, you got to give him some credit. A 6'11" guy being willing to come out and challenge a 3-point shot. It's pretty impressive too.
Coach, you've been at this such a long time. I'm sure there's a million scenarios you had with teams entering the postseason. Some have done well, some have stumbled a bit. Is there trepidation? Do you have any concerns as we move forward here?
I have concerns every year. I mean, when we win the league, I'm just as concerned as I am now. When I'm going to say tied for 3rd, I'm not going to say 6th. But no, I always have fears, I always have doubts. But I try to compartmentalize them. When I get to the team, we talk about goals and dreams. I don't talk about the problems that we have. I believe in showing kids the mistakes they make. We're going to practice today, and we'll watch tape afterwards. And the tape will be on the Duke game and try to show the mistakes we made and things that I think can be easily changed. But it's so different. I mean, I think I'm right on this. Steve probably knows this. I mean, guys, we've been to, I think, 9 Final Fours. We only won the conference tournament twice, once here and once at Kansas.
Only 8 years ago.
Yeah, so it's you're always going to have some blips. I mean, who was it? Michigan's on a 9-game winning streak. That's really hard. Can you continue that through 6 more games? And Michigan's playing great, and some teams that I've had play great down the stretch, and hopefully we can start playing a little bit better. But again, 9 times to the Final Four, and we only won the conference tournament twice.
Do you have a measure of comfort knowing that your core group knows what it's like to lose to Duke in the last game of the regular season and then do something different in the tournament? And even last year, losing to Duke in the semifinals and going on and winning it all? That they understand what it takes and it's not the end of the world?
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I talked to her. I had a little meeting with Joel and Theo yesterday. I said, hey, last year, last regular season game, didn't we lose to Duke last year? And it was a year before.
Year before.
And got the championship. See, I really pay a hell of a lot of attention to it. It's that kind of thing. So I don't think there's any pattern. You just got to play better. But it was, I said, 2 years ago, in that same scenario, we lost to Duke at Duke, and, you know, we played on the last Monday night. And you just got to play well once you get in there and get started. Coach Smith used to say 100 years ago, you build your momentum once you get in the tournament. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, and I'm talking about the big tournament. Yeah, you build some momentum when you get in the ACC, but boy, you better not be thinking about that when you get in the NCAA tournament, because I think that's really a recipe for failure.
Speaking of Coach Smith, I was thinking about great ACC teams that are forgotten because they didn't do well in the NCAAs, and you've mentioned the '84 Carolina team before. What was so disappointing about that?
'84 North Carolina, '97 Kansas. I thought both those teams were the best teams in the country, but the NCAA doesn't always signify the best team in the country. It signifies the team that went on that game night. I think it was '05, I think. We won the national championship, and I think San Antonio and Detroit played for the NBA championship, and they both lost their first game in the first round. And I told both those guys, if you'd been in the NCAA, you'd go home. You know, that's the difference in the NBA. I think the best team usually does win. It's 3 of 5, and then it gets to be 4 of 7. But '97, you know, we lost Jared. Played 12 minutes in the game against Arizona, and in '84 North Carolina. Those were. It'd be hard to say that any of our championship teams have been any better than those two teams were.
You mentioned earlier this year about how you made the comment about the cocktail party. Has your attitude at all changed on the ACC tournament, or do you think other people are catching up to your attitude towards it?
You know, I've stopped saying it just because I didn't want to listen to people criticize me, kind of thing. You know, because it's not the most important thing in the world to me. There's no question about that. So I've tried to stop being so crass and cruel about it. But I want to win because I'm playing in it. Period. But I really want to win that next one because we're playing in it. This one, we won the ACC tournament in 6 and 7 or 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
7 and 8. And those were really good teams. Nobody talks about the 2007 team at all, and that was a really good team. I mean, Brandon Wright, Tyler Hand, wasn't that 07?
Yes.
I mean, that was a really good team, but nobody talks about that team. And but everybody talks about 05, 09, 16, 17, those teams that get to the Final Four. But I do think, you know, it's just shut up and play. You know, I don't believe in shutting up and dribble. I'll never believe in that junk. But it's a tournament that I do enjoy when I get there. I sit back a lot before and afterwards and try to really see the significance of it. But that's just my opinion.
When you make those comments, there might be a misconception that you either coach differently or try differently in those games, right? That's just a matter of how you react to the results of the tournament.
No, I get the exact same feeling before the games, the exact same feelings after the game, win or lose. I want to win. I tell my guys all the time, I liked it better when I say it, I'm packing 3 suits. Now I got to pack 4, you know, that kind of thing. But I'm not going up there just to stay one day. I really do. And I don't talk to the team about, you know, the biggest cocktail party in the South. I don't talk to the team about that because we're in the tournament. If we're going to play, I want to win the thing. And I don't think we prepare any differently. I guess it's just a philosophy thing with me because it's just what I think.
3 years ago, you played 4 games in the ACC tournament. You guys were a 5 and got to the finals. Did you, looking back on that, did you coach?
Notre Dame or who's that?
Notre Dame, yeah. Did you coach early on in that tournament as if you might play 4 games?
Yeah. I mean, I'm prepared. Like I said, I'm taking 4 suits. I don't get the suckers wrinkled just by having them in the bag. I want to use them. So we're going to try to win as hard as we possibly can. It's not going to be 99% physical and 99% mental. It's going to be everything we have. And so the first day, we're prepared to try to stay there. But you got to win the first day. You know, well, maybe we should rest Joel a few more weeks. If you rest him, you lose, then you can go home and get a lot of rest. So I've never done those kind of things. No.
Was that the only time you've coached 4 in 4 days? Did your Kansas teams ever have to play 4?
Usually we've been pretty good not have to play.
Yeah.
You know, I
What
like
did
that
you
part
learn
better.
from, what did you learn from that, having to go layering that on top of each other and sort of that little grind that it was?
I have no idea. I'd like to give you some of this grade, but I just told them we're gonna play our tails off and see what happens if they let us stay tomorrow. I mean, that's what I say all the time. I said, let's play our tails off. And, you know, maybe they'll let us hang around and play again tomorrow. I've said that all the time, but I remember that we were playing pretty well against Notre Dame, and then all of a sudden they made like 10 jump shots in a row. Something crazy like that. And it was start to bust.
Roy, I'm trying to remember your stories about recruiting Joel. Was it, I'm trying to remember, did you say you noticed the competitive edge, the tough competitive thing immediately, or was that something you came to know the more you recruited him?
The more I recruited him, you got to know it more. Watching him play in the games, you got to, and in the summer stuff too, summer and spring, you knew that he was a very competitive kid. But the more you saw that, the more you watched him play, the more you saw about the toughness part of it. And, you know, in his senior year, he didn't lose a game. He missed 5 games because of a knee injury, or 5 or 6 or 7, I don't remember exactly how. And they lost some of those games, but he didn't lose a game. And that was important to him, not to lose a game. And so you see that toughness and the competitiveness that you really like.
Is he more competitive since he's been here, or is he just wired that way to be that way all the
I think each
time?
and every year, my own opinion, you would have to ask him, but I think each and every year he's gotten more competitive. I really believe that. I think it could be because he feels more comfortable in showing it, but to me, I think he's gotten more and more and more that way.
You think that was just him being a step ahead of the rest of us with his comment about being scared? I feel like that was like a leadership move on his part, so that we'd write about that. I don't think he was really scared, did you? Joel?
I didn't even see the comment.
He said he was timid, that they played
Yeah.
timid.
Said he was scared as hell.
So Kenny.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
You know, some things I don't tell you, that's okay too, but,
Life
no,
advice right there.
you know, there's 3 or 4 levels, you know. Timid, tight, afraid, you know. I challenged him a little bit because I thought we were very timid, very tight. And I'm thinking, why are you tight? I mean, this doesn't make sense. You're playing a basketball game. I mean, my security person over there has got multiple myeloma and didn't show up for the game. He's been taking chemo. That's the kind of thing you should be tight about. But I did. I challenged him after the game because I thought we were way too tight. And we were not playing as aggressively, not just pushing the ball, but thinking aggressively. You know, you start worrying because another team's making shots. That always used to drive me as a coach, and I wasn't a very good player, but it drove me as a player too. But if you make a shot, by golly, I want to make one too. Now, if you make a birdie, I'm going to try my darndest to make a birdie too. And then after you make that one, I'm going to make another one. I want to get you backing up. And I didn't see that kind of attitude. It's the first time I've seen that. And so I got on a little bit, and we talked about which degree it was. And I'm not going to tell you all the conversation, but it was funny that he said that. But I think that we weren't nearly as aggressive mentally or with our play as I wanted us to be in the second half.
Do you think Joel Theo will have a different mindset here now that they've hit the postseason? Or
I hope not, you know, because their mindset's been really good. The other years it's worked out pretty well. When you're a senior, you get to see the end of the line and you care a little bit more about the little things, but you can't carry that with you because I think that adds pressure to you. Our mindset, like I say, has been pretty good, and I hope that we keep it like that. Just play, just play, just play. You know, the biggest thing at tournament time is game day. You got to play on game day, and I hope that they'll adopt that. And, you know, last year, you guys may not believe it, but I had never heard them. I'd heard the word before in my life. It's in my vocabulary, but I'd never heard the word redemption until we got to Phoenix. I think I even told you. I mean, that was them. But no, I hope we'll try to approach it like we have been.
I need some advice on how to kill time.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy too.
What do you do?
9:30.
What do you do?
Well, and it's the worst thing is I used to sprint and then I jogged and then I jogged and walk, and now I just walk. But last year it's snowing up there and we still tried to walk outside and walked across the bridge, walked over there and walked back. And at 9:30 at night I may go twice.
I hate to tell you what the forecast is for Wednesday.
I mean, I'll tell you, We got beat by Duke at Duke in 2010 by 117 points or something like that. And we left and drove to Riceville Beach. And the next morning I got up and I said, I'm gonna go walk. So my buddy Ted Seagroves went with me. We got back to the house and about 31 minutes later, I said, I gotta go for a walk. I walked 5 times that day. You know, I didn't want to talk to anybody. Any of these guys that noticed and recognized me and said, Coach, boy, you really got beat last night. You think I don't know that? You know, and they weren't trying to be mean or anything, but no, I'm sure I walked 5 times, and in a couple more years, it'll probably 7 times when I tell the story, but I know I walked 5 different times that day.
There's a lot of rivers to spit in.
Yeah, there's New York. I've never spit in the river, New York. I may try that. That may be a way I'll take up my time. I appreciate that.
I mean, you're not on Twitter, so.
Yeah. There's Twitter or Tweeter.
Twitter?
Okay, no, I'm not.
Anybody else? We got Joel and Luke.
I got one.
Yeah.
Just curious, you've talked about walking for years and you're running before. Do you make some important decisions when you're walking? Do you kind of process things to the point where you get back, you're like, okay, this is what we're
No,
going to do?
I do. I think a lot about the game. It gets me away from the phones. It gets me away from, doing some stuff that sort of takes my attention away from coaching. So I do it for that part. Well, let me back up. I love ice cream and cake, and so I do it so I can eat more. But somebody told me it was healthy too. But I do think a lot, because I go a lot by myself. Sometimes, most of the time around here, Clint goes with me, and we talk about everything. But and then I ask him questions, so he'll have to get out his phone and find the answer, because I can't do those kind of things. But hey, big fella. But no, I use it to try to think a little bit, but also I just get out and enjoy it. It's hard to enjoy walking across that bridge in the snow, but we'll find out.
Steve, what is it for?